Another player to enter this set as a rookie and come out as indisputably one of the better players in the world is Bruhbruhbruhwho, putting up phenomenal performances throughout both the regular season and his Worlds run, finishing 9th, just barely missing from that final lobby. And he had another very well executed game here on day 2 of the Worlds. We are playing in a Varus and an Evelyn game. We start out with a 3 cost, and our 3 cost is the Lulu on the Mountain Stargazer. Therefore, definitely considering if we can playing around her, especially if we are able to find another Stargazer unit here, as we already have a talent pair to be playing around from here on out. We have the Replicator and the Rod and a Nashor's Tooth, so definitely he's already calling in chat that he's going to be playing around the Lulu, holding on to those Aatroxes for a possibility to be pairing with that Jax, obviously, and Lissandra, that so we can maybe have a little bit of maneuvering all around. Heavy is the Crown. I do not think it's great in Lulu. It's more in your something like the Jinx, is something that has both the possibility to scale from both stats. Advanced Loan, though, you would have to be praying that it's not prismatic, and while it does kickstart your recon quite well, when we are playing the 3-cost reroll, so we want a lot of econ, we want to be preserving potential for lives. I am not sure if this is exactly the econ I'm going to be looking for. Pandora's items, you also want a lot of items in this comp. You have the Milio, the Lulu, and possibly even 2 frontliners to itemize. But you would want to be taking this to accelerate your tempo slams. We have the potential for tempo slams right now, so we might just be picking it up as a way to try to secure some lives in this stage 2, and then use the extra HP we have saved to buy us more time to hit our 3 stars and potentially play for that win out, especially on the mountain. Backline blueprint is great if you have no direction, but our direction is pretty much set in, and we would probably not want to be gambling this spot, and we can see that everyone's respecting it. Savings account, would you have to be playing into that lost streak, and this is going to be proccing around at stage 4, and then playing, you would have to pray that you are pretty much hitting your 3-star on the roll down to be winning out, unless you somehow manage to preserve more lives. That's going to become quite tricky again, as with Advanced Loan, you at least have the possibility to be rolling a little bit earlier on. And we're going to be picking Pandora's right here. Also, if we are going for Maokai, for example, as our 3-star tank, then he's going to want a lot of these belt items, but we're going to be holding onto the chain. It's fine, like the something like a stone plate is quite good of an option, and we immediately hit that glove, so this is a quite nice way for us to show how you're actually playing around Pandora's, right? Immediately trying to slam these items, trying to preserve lives, just turning bad components into something that's very usable. Or if you are required to hit something like Harvest, for example, like a Zaya, you start out with a Kraken, for example, then you need to be fishing for more of these bows, and you're playing from a win streak spot. You are leveraging the not having the anvils from a loss streak, playing from a win streak to try to fix 1 or 2 components at a time. Narrow loss here we take against Honoko, playing as a bodyguard, training very strong tempo augment, providing a lot of those resistances very early on in the game, opting to make 20 right away. And now we also picked up this Jax, so we unfortunately had to give up onto this Aatrox 2 that we had made. Just opted to make that maybe a little greedy play, but then again, making this first 10 is extremely important, and he wants to have the necessary amount of econ. People a lot of times underestimate how expensive these 3-cost rerolls really are. Compared to your unit, you're on your own, costs 27 gold, but you're not just going for 1, you're definitely going for at least another 3-cost or like a tank, and you're fishing up more units. This is a very, very expensive comp to be really playing for. That's why you want the extra lives also. Now, Steamroll, I do not think we are in a spot to be cashing out. We have started to lose since the mountain needs time to be scaling, doesn't provide that much for us at the start of the game, and it's going to be tough. And super parting gifts, I think we have a possibility of 1 3-cost, so if we take this, maybe we high roll. Lulu didn't high roll a Lulu. We have 2 3-costs here. This is going to be 6 gold guaranteed. This is a little safer choice. Going with a 2-cost in form of Emilio. Just I think it was Emilio, right? Yeah, it was Milio. So just making sure that we are going to be picking up a potential for a 2-star spike, right? Some of this game plan sometimes is to, I think quite often a lot of players have realized that for this Lulu comp, we are fine to be stabilizing our board on level 6. Also a neat play here is putting the Twisted Fate up front to soak some damage, to guarantee he soaks some damage, as he's not going to be really doing anything compared to this Lulu. Unfortunately, we queue into Hustler level 6, playing for that extreme tempo, capitalizing that there are anima players in the lobby and other players that are weaker. I'm not sure how far this player is going to go, but this is the first time I see Hustler truly click to the competitive lobby. But this is why watching some of these super international lobbies is very interesting, as many different reads clash together, and some players might value some of these niche augments a little higher than we do here in the West. Now another player who has pushed to level 5, Steel of Bora here. Unfortunately didn't we queued into that Adama player on the first round, so we do not have the 5 loss to be going for, but 30 gold here is about fine. Upgrade that Pantheon, which is quite nice, immediately slapping the Stargazer emblem on him, able to slot in 2 Timebreaker, a very valuable attack speed buff at 15%. And we should be, now our next level is pretty much clear, going to be the Twisted Fate, as we want to keep stacking our Stargazer, stacking our mountain, right? We might probably going to be slotting this, unless we level here, I would imagine we slotting this Milio so we are not turn late. It would be interesting to see if we're going to be perhaps valuing playing the strongest board so much. Going to transition obviously the Stoneplate to the upgraded Pantheon. Not going to level, going to delay our mountain. Oh, sorry, we have the Stargazers online because of the emblem, obviously. Obviously we have it right there, so that's a nice realization right there. It's a little late tonight for me, but we are picking up seems like a win against Dish Soap here. So we have picked up a win. Didn't get that actual value from that loss streak, right? The loss streak value truly comes in at 5 and 6 gold that you're going to be picking up. Climb the ladder is actually in the mountain quite strong if you're able to get there, but we truly need econ right now. We truly really need econ, and advanced loan gives us that option right now. It comes back. It's another gold, I believe. With gold, it's about 1/3 of a chance for it to be a prismatic in the end, and 1/3 of a chance for it to be a gold. Charge transfer is not that strong for the Lulu. You can be taking this for 10 damage jump, which is alright, but not exactly what you're truly looking for. Spreading roots, more items, we're playing it, and we're not pushing. This would be more if we had some flexibility of fast 9 board. But we need econ. We're going to be picking up the advanced loan. We can see immediately he's also here rolling on the level 6, trying to pick up, trying to stabilize his board, especially since we picked up that win right there, right? We are in a spot where we can maybe string together a little bit of a win streak, trying to secure some wins. Now we have another Nashor's Duel to complete. Sitting also in Lulu pair, we could be considering, even in my opinion, dropping a little bit below this 40 gold mark right here. And also why it is so strong of a strategy, particularly on Mountain, is due to something that I missed myself just other turn. We are fine to be playing around this 3 mountain right away without having to slot in the Twisted Fate, which is a little bit of a dead slot. It links the board together quite nicely. Also, we are playing in the Artifact Anvil start, and not happy about any of these options, right? Gambler's Bait, maybe to generate a little bit extra econ, but it's slow cap, and it would be on our Milio that doesn't have items. We're not going to truly build attack speed on him. And he's covering Death Defiance here was the reasoning that we simply want more frontline items right now. We have 3 item carry. We are looking for frontline items. This can help Stalf, has that 40 armor, has that reduced the damage over time effect that allows you to buy more time. And same goes for Shiver, not building attack speed and Prowler's Claw. Well, it's your melee item. Your Urgot is not a meta. Bring back Urgot. That was the most fun thing I can see, the tank flying around, but not going to be having it. Hovering, that also probably evaluating which side this that we are going to be queuing into a player. See that it's on a jack, so do not are fine to be saving ourselves a remover, at least for now, to pick up a win here against the No Scat No Pivot Jinx reroller. So that is actually a good sign for us that some of the 2 costs are going to be pulled out of the pool. 4 cost and a 3 cost that share a trait at 7 gold. We can sacrifice 3 Tactician's health to gain 9 gold. Only 1 star. Well, TF3 is a possibility, I guess that could help us stabilize, and same goes for Aatrox 3. We have 2 hits out of, there are 40 in 1 cost, so it's a 1 in 7 that we hit, rather than having straight up 7 gold. You can see it's a tough choice for him as well, if he's going to be looking for it. We've hit a Lulu from our god though, and maybe he's planning on I mean, in the reroll you would generally want to align yourself with Varus, right? You gain a lot of HP, but his blessings are kind of weak, as you can see. Maybe the 10% durability is going to be something that we truly value a little bit more. That's why we're inclining on Evelyn. I guess we'll see going into that stage 4. Picking up a tier that we're going to be rerolling here, possibly for another Stoneplate or maybe a Crown Guard. as it doesn't seem that we're going to be chasing that Maokai, a very contested unit. Something you have to realize. This is the reason why the Lulu comp has managed to preserve through these metas compared to something maybe like the MF reroll. There's a lot of these. You have possibility for a lot of tanks to be playing around, and these Pantheon and the Jax are generally not as contested by other players, so you are fine to be picking them up, and Jax has remained as a strong tank throughout the many nerfs we've been seeing. Against the Space Groove board here from Zyko, the Gwen is going to get shipped down by the Lulu, and this is another aspect why Lulu, in my opinion, has preserved, is that she just has the possibility to be chipping at backlines and ignoring some of these super tanks like the Morgana here, just healing, but she's going to be the last one alive, and we are on a nice 5 streak, so amazingly recognize that as immediately we took that win, we are fine to be rolling here on level 6 and trying to stabilize our board, as hitting the 2-star Lulu is quite probable still. Are we going to use this PB round to reroll our artifact? Yes, it seems that we are. We get a free flip. We have to hope that we high roll here a little bit to be hitting it. Something useful, and the Gambler base comes back. We have the Reforger. We can reforge. Sword, yeah, sword would be fine for something like the Spear of Shojin, but I would assume that we are now fishing for the frontline items as we have sorted out the Morellos, or Izora is completely fine, and an AP artifact for this Milieu to be holding, so that's probably going to remain his build for the rest of the game. Unfortunately, this board is on the other side of our Jax, but as we have hit the Jax tree, we are still in a good position for him to hold down the fort without only a single item, and the Lulu is a 2-star, still should be quite strong against the other boards. We have the HP lead, we have the streak, we should be in prime spot, and we just rolled another stone plate. How we could cap this out? Well, we are a little low on the Lulu copies, I believe, and the Bilio copies, so perhaps even like as a silver tier, something like some form of an econ, something like rolling for days would be fine in my opinion. Climb the ladder, otherwise, great way to push our edge a little bit further. Vampiric Vitality, something I would not consider clicking at all this set really. Lineup. We are going to be level 7, so we're not going to be having as many frontline units. This is great in your Shepherd board, for example. Best Friends, very good augment since it received both the buffs, but might make our positioning a little bit tricky. We are running those stone plates though, so we are fine at least to be slotting a unit against the Jax. Our backline is going to be paired up. Interesting tower. I mean, for more frontline presence is quite fine. The issue is that fights, especially in the second half of the game, are so bursty that this tower doesn't really gain that much value as it does in the early game. He's defaulting Climb the Ladder, and I believe in Mountain this is a fair choice to be going for, and he opts to agree. Immediately pick up a Blitzcrank here that we can be just slotting in if we wanted to, but no, we're going to be completing our package here, giving that getting the attack speed, giving that Fate Weaver precision for this Milio here. And interesting, he's pretty much almost blocking in his Twisted Fate, trying to get the maximum aggro amount of drawn onto this Jax, as we noticed that all the matchups were on this side. As you can see, this Alawi already ganked us. If it was something like a Master Yi, that would be just an end for ourselves. You have to be very whenever you're doing this kind of solo frontline shenanigans for what your matchup pool is truly containing. Be very vigilant, and then still hope that they don't, like, you know, sometimes swap fully. And yeah, for example, this Jinx reroll player here, we would not want the Akali to walk up on ourselves. So let's see how we're going to be tricking this positioning. He's going to just going with the safe one. This is the safer choice to be doing, so do not get as much value as these units do. Draw some aggro, right? The Vex is aggroing on them right there, but it's fine. We are making sure our carries save. The Blitzcrank does make it though, but it's an itemized 1-star Blitzcrank, so we're picking up a win against Steel of Boro. He has triple econ fast 9 already, trying to cap around the standard board, but has the Jin pair for the flexibility. We find the duplicator, we click the duplicator. The best thing you can be hitting here, just picking up a unit, whatever. We're probably looking for a third frontline item right now, as our vulnerability, if we did, well, we have the 3-star Jack, so it's quite decent of a frontline still, but the vulnerability we have right now is obviously the having it only a 2-item tank, and the other rerollers have also hit, so we might be in a little bit of a troubles unless, well, let's see how we fare against this makeshift AP flex board. A very interesting itemization there on LeBlanc. But then you have 2 items only on your Karma, which I would say is the primary carry, but we lose to it. This Hustler player is surprising me right here, playing very flexibly. Unfortunately, I don't think their VODs are available anywhere, as I've pretty much crammed through almost all of the world's players. Steel of Boro, they're upgrading the 2-star new Blitzcrank right away. So now he's starting to leech cap. Great that we fought him just before he managed to spike. Against Sappho here, playing around that mech cash out. A lot of armor onto this mech next to durability from this Morgana coming in, and he has that Annihilator who's going to be dealing a lot of damage right there for ourselves, so we simply just cannot withhold. Also has the solo plate armor, which makes it extremely strong of a combination. We immediately see another stone plate. So is this a triple stone plate build? Now going to value more durability. Great read, having the durability, not over-indexing onto these magic resist, for pure resists. We sent it down right there, managed to pick up the Pantheon and Milio 3, just a 2 more copies away from pretty much reaching critical mass, so we were fine. This is generally the tempo pace you want to be hitting on your 3-cost reroll, going into that early stage of 5. Did we truly need to pull the trigger fully down? I am not sure. I believe we could have perhaps stopped once we hit that Milio 3 and Pantheon 3. Save a little bit of an extra econ, but perhaps he's valuing that his matchup pool is now getting so strong that he definitely needs that Lulu 3. Because I'm not sure if even Maokai 3 with these items is going to truly be the difference maker. There's a lot of Maokais out, but they are all upgraded. I don't think they might hold extra copies just to grief us, but we really need this Lulu, so I believe if we hit a single copy, we might just dupe it out. And then look to push levels, still going to be holding onto these Maokais just because we have these extra lives. But that we have saved the belt right there. We're rolling another belt. If we hit a Warmogs, then we are fine. But simply you need raw HP items for this Maokai to truly function. Narrow win here against the No Scout No Pivot, who is starting to reach that critical mass. We find a Lulu, so here's the decision. Are we going to dupe it out? Yes, we are. Not being too greedy. We need our carry. Our front line is fine. The Jax is going to do quite sufficient. We have a lot of HP. Also, due thanks to the Varus, we have a lot of HP. Still going for this full of frontline positioning here, but we are queuing into the Blitzcrank. That is not the greatest of the parts, but thankfully we're away from this Vex, so the re-aggro might not happen right away. Dunu does hit our backline, so are we going to be able to outscale it? Thankfully, she doesn't have a Rage Blade, and we are able to get there just purely because we used that dupe here onto that Lulu. It allowed us to secure this crucial win and secure the placement right away. For the next item, well, we might be just Sterax for this Maokai. HP is HP, as they say. Do not think the Bramble West is as strong. Oh, well, obviously, yeah, we can put it here on the Pantheon for now, as it's actually 3-star going to be leading a little bit more value. That's completely fine. Against the Conda playing around the standard LeBlanc, another Nunu ult is going to be hitting our backline. Jax has started to fall, and LeBlanc definitely has that single target, but scaling to be bursting down through ourselves. Very close fighting once again, that we are able to pick up a win and secure ourselves at top 4. We are fine to be iconing up at this point. We are cashing out another mountain emblem quite soon as well, as we just did. Yeah, and you can see he even dropped the Twisted Fate in favor of this Ras to gain even more frontline presence. Very nice read right there, and now against Sappho, the rematch against our mech player, the Annihilator is going to be kicking in, deletes our frontline, and this player is definitely very scary for ourselves. Maybe we do truly need, well, we get another emblem coming in, so this is another huge power spike for ourselves. Now we would want to be perhaps pushing the levels, but we had sold that Twisted Fate to be fishing for more rerolls for this Lulu, to make that Lulu 3 as well, right? So probably, yeah, rolling here. Maybe if we see a Twisted Fate, we could consider pushing, but we pick up that Maokai 3. Should be Spirit Visage, yeah, and Spirit Visage, and going to be going with that bow to get his CC cast right off. Now we are on the same side as the Steel of Bora here again. The Blitz, thankfully not the strongest of the TGs. No, we dropped the sides actually. Last second we managed to swap the sides, but we have just so much frontline that especially without a great itemization, this Vex is going to be struggling. Seems that his Graves, even though he picked it up early on, simply doesn't have enough damage in him to be dealing with so much HP present on our board. So we have to be going against Sappho with this mech cash out, who has reached a very high cap, has that Blitz too with actual proper itemization, has the secondary tank in form of Morgana, also with great items on her, has already reached the Bard here, that's also, even though it has a Last Whisper, is going to be dishing out a significant amount of damage and has that damage jump against the tanks. So let's see, this is pretty much a nutrition fight, and the stall is going to be favoring the mech, and we're going to be taking a loss. This is where we would want to be hoping that we had this Twisted Fate, that we could be making this spike right here for the 7 Stargazer, but unfortunately we have to just settle for an 1 for now. Could theoretically use another roll, but hey, the Sworn at least is going to be gaining an item, a little bit meat on the board, to perhaps buy us a little bit more time. Switching the sides, maybe now that we are going to be on the Bard side, we have a potential to win it out, but still we have to get through this mech right away. The Morgana is going to be casting, becoming extremely durable. Annihilator is going to be pretty much every time it procs, there's so much damage stored into this Aurelian Soul that's going to be rocking our frontline. Picking up the last frontline item, improving, yeah, the Crown Guard. The Crown Guard has a synergy with Steadfast, but he's going to value having these extra having this extra resistances onto this Jax, even though we cannot gain the maximum Stoneplate value in a fight like this. Going to be putting in the Morgana for hopefully a little bit more durability, but yeah, this Annihilator, let's see if if the durability is going to make any change once it procs. Unfortunately, the Blitzcrank is there. It seems to make some difference, but this is just so much frontline presence through the Mighty Mech and the Morgana too that we cannot get through it. Well executed game by Bruhbruhbruhwho, displaying how to truly tempo around these 3-cost reroll comps, how to put yourself in the perfect position from the earlier stages of the game, capitalizing on the extra econ provided by Advanced Loan and the fact that we have this extra Stargazer emblem. We can keep stacking our mountain and safely stabilize on level 6 with this reroll comp to establish some stage 3 tempo, then use the extra lives to have the buffer for ourselves to hit a little bit later on. And, well, unfortunately had to give up onto that Twisted Fate and didn't reach the full highest cap, but still managed to put up a very fair fight here against an extremely high capped mech cash out board, displaying why this comp has remained relevant throughout the fall set. I would like to thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.